this is Randall Lowe's here, and today I want to talk to you about moments of inspiration. Where do you get your inspiration from? And more importantly, how do you keep it up? Sometimes we get into spells where we get a little bit dry and we don't have, um, anything to talk about, or even more importantly than that, how do you get content for your blog? Sometimes you can find that your content for your blog can be a little bit boring sometimes, a little bit of techie stuff. Sometimes people don't know, or they don't can't understand it anyways, like HTTP file and the FTP file, and did I say HTTP? I mean the HTML. See, I don't even know it, but guess what? I do know how to do it because I found out. But the question is where do you get your inspiration from? One place of inspiration that I get my inspiration is from church. And I find that many of the greatest life stories are from in the Bible. And the reason why it's written in the way that it's written is because those life stories are designed to be able to help me and you in our lives. And I get a lot of inspiration from that because I find them to be very true and very relevant to my life and what the situation is always there. Out of the 44 years I've been alive, the stories haven't changed, neither have the results, neither have the solutions. So that's just a testament to the Bible that some of the things in there, whether you believe them or not, they're still true. They're going to stay true, and that's just how that goes. Another place where I find inspiration, back to church. I do want to thank my pastor for being true to the Bible and staying that he conveys the messages to us and breaks them down, that he helps us to relate with them so that we can better digest it for our lives for that week, week to week, day to day. But another place where I find inspiration is from the movies. And you may not believe it or not, but I find a lot of inspiration in moving stories that are like on LMN or the Lifetime channel, or documentaries that they just have tons of motivation in them because it's a real life story. It's about somebody's struggle and success. One of my most favorite ones is Rudy. Yes, you know the one guy where the guy is from Notre Dame, and he wants to go to Notre Dame real bad, and he can't get in. He keeps trying to get his grades up. He finally gets accepted. He wants to be on the football team. He has to go as a walk-on. As being a football player, I know what that's like, to see how that struggle is. He tries to break into getting on the team. He is only a practice player. He can never dress for the games, and they give him the chance to dress for the game that one time. And because of his perseverance in practice and his perseverance to do anything it takes to see his goal and his dream fulfilled, they let him on the field, and he makes the tackle at the end of the game. And all the players raise him up on their shoulders, because they know all the struggle that he went through to be able to gain just 1 second, one itty bitty second of notoriety. And I'm getting teary-eyed just talking about it, because it's just always that show is just always so motivational to me. Another place where you can get motivation is from acts of kindness. Some people are just naturally nice like that, but I guess I'm not, because I don't feel it all the time. But I went to fix a senior citizen's door the other day, and they are in wheelchairs, and they're unable to walk. Her husband had a stroke. She's in a wheelchair. I believe she's had a stroke too, but they're getting older, and they're getting real weak, and they don't know where to go. And it was just, when they told me, well, here's what the problem was. They broke the key off inside the door. And when I got there, I was able to get the key out of the lock, but then they didn't have a key, so I had to go get a key made. In order to get the key made, I had to take the lock out. I took it to the Armor Guard store. It was an Armor Guard door. The door was no longer going to shut anymore. They were going to be locked out of, I mean, they were going to be in their house. The door was going to be open and completely broke into. It was a bad part of the neighborhood. Well, I take it to the Armor Guard store, and the Armor Guard store doesn't even know what kind of lock that is, and they can't get another one to replace it. So we're gonna have to replace the whole cylinder. Normally you can just replace the lock, and you can go keep on going. So I take the lock to a locksmith. He can't rekey the lock because it's a sealed lock, and he can't get into it. It's a very old lock. So I end up looking around, and I went back again, tried another solution, it didn't work. I tried another solution, it didn't work. Something that should have only taken me 45 minutes, I mean drive time and everything, 45 minutes to do. I went there and it took me 3 hours. But here's what I did. I went to another store that sells Armor Guard doors, and guess what? This guy had the actual lock that I needed. It was a newer upgraded brand, but it was the right style, right fit, and everything. Well, when I get back and I put it on there, she tells me, she says, Randy, we knew we should have called you because we know that we trust you and we know that you can get things done. And when she told me that, it just about brought tears to my eyes, because to know that somebody thinks that much of me because of an act of kindness that I knew I wasn't going to leave there until that door got fixed, until their security was attained. That, she told me that. I just sat back and almost had tears in my eyes because, I didn't want her to see it. But earlier that day, someone had told me about their story, about how they didn't have a job. They hadn't had a job for quite some months now, and they have kids that they need to take care of, and there's no jobs in the city, and that seems to be the ongoing thing around everywhere. It's everywhere. It's not just in one place. Well, the story that she told me just really touched me and made me reach out to her, made me be able to speak to her, to give her some words of encouragement. Um, and, those kind of acts of kindness are the kind that are real, that, really mean something to somebody. We had one of our most devastating times as a nation, and when 911 happened. And even though there's been several worldwide tragedies since then, those types of things make you, it made the whole world wake up. It made each other pay attention to each other. Right now, if you have someone that you haven't spoken to in a while, or someone that you need to speak to, and just tell them I appreciate you, thank you, or I love you. You need to make sure you reach out to them and do that, because we're only here for, a set amount of time, a set amount of breaths, a set amount of heartbeats. And we don't know how much that is, and we need to appreciate each other and more, and help each other more. And I just feel that if you live a purpose-filled life, you'll find inspiration all around you. You'll find inspiration at every turn that you go to, and you'll be able to, live a life full of motivation. So here's some things that you can do to find your motivation. One of them that I do is keep a pen and paper handy at all times. I've got them here. They've got notes. I take them with me all over. But I can keep reaching and grabbing because they are literally all over. There's two more up here. There's one more down there. I'm running out of hands. But I keep my notes around a lot because you never know when that moment of inspiration is going to hit you. You don't know if you're going to have the next $1,000,000 idea. And as far as if you're doing something, I do marketing and stuff. You don't know if your next marketing idea is going to be $1,000,000 idea, and it could work just like that. But you forgot what it was. You didn't clearly write it down. You didn't follow up. So you want to keep a pen and paper handy at all times. The second thing you want to do is read a good book or a novel. Read a good book or a novel. Read the newspaper all the time. You know what? I really don't even watch the news or read the newspaper because it's full of garbage. It's just the worst news that I've ever heard. It's not called good news. It's just called news. It should be called all bad news. Nothing but tragedies, you know. Um, but read a good book or a novel. You'll find inspiration all over the place. It settles you. It calms you down. It gets you on a course, and it gets you. It can get you inspired and lead you to a set destination, a set destination that you choose. The other way that you can get motivation, uh, you can make sure you meet new people. I have met some new people just recently that have inspired tons of motivation for me. And some of these notepads that you see, when I talk to them, there's just so many things that coming out of me. The creativity, the idea sharing that comes about is one of the best feelings that I've ever had in dealing with people, because we're able to co-create something that, unless I met that person, I wouldn't be able to create it with them. Unless I talk to that person, the next thing you can do is ask them questions, because it's not about you. It's about you serving them. It's about how you can help them. And if you can reach out and say something that's going to help somebody, um, it's going to help them, and they're going to thank you for it. And you don't have to hear them say thank you, or you don't have to hear them give you praise for it, but they'll know that you inspired them. There's a lot of people. Martin Luther King, I never met him. He's inspired the whole nation, a whole nation of people. Rosa Parks inspired a whole nation of people. Abraham Lincoln inspired a whole nation of people. I'll never meet these people, but they inspired me. And that's the same kind of effect that you can have on people when you reach out and meet new people. Um, so, and the last thing, the most important thing that you want to do is you want to live a purpose-filled life. You'll find that you will inspire motivation for yourself and in others. So it's been Randall Levels here, and I want to thank you for being here. And I just want you to know that you inspired me to make this video. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.